Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. If you're watching the video version, you're seeing the Minecraft version of Steve. Haha. I got my amiibo. Did you guys get those?
I did.
I'm not even a huge Minecraft fan, but I had to get my Steve amiibo because why not? Hey everybody, welcome again. This is episode 258 of the NintendoFuse Podcast. We are recording on September 13th, a Tuesday afternoon, instead of a Monday evening like we normally do, because Nintendo had a little event. And so today we're going to talk about all about those directs, all those events, because everybody gets a direct. Like, you get a direct, you get a direct, everybody gets a direct. That's at least what it feels like here on the NintendoFuse Podcast for episode 258. My name is Steve. Of course, I am also joined by Barry. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. What a day.
What a day,
It's
what a
not even
couple
over yet.
weeks for sure. Or what, just really just this last week. Greg, how are you doing?
Things are going pretty good. I actually didn't pick up my amiibo yet. I see they're notified to be picked up from Best Buy, so I just need to make the run over there, and I'll soon have my Steve amiibo as well. So
Nice. Yeah, I was just walking through Target the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot that those were coming out. I have to have a Steve one." So yeah, I
So I
think I'll
assume you
only.
kept the Alex as well.
Yeah, she right, is on
She-
a shelf back there, but Steve's gonna stay close to me. Have to keep myself close. Hey to everybody in the chat as well. If you don't know, if you've never been to the NintendoFuse Podcast before, we do this thing live most of the time. Pretty much 98, 99% of the time we are recording live, and we would actually love to have you guys join the chat room. We stream live on both YouTube and Twitch, and that's usually every other Monday. But like we said, change things up this episode just because Nintendo finally dropped their direct that's been rumored for I don't even know how long. We have talked about rumors and rumors and rumors. And we were joking around yesterday, like if this thing doesn't actually happen, we can just like replay, one of our conversations from the past about Nintendo Direct rumors. But it actually happened. We're going to get into that and so much more. If you are new to the episode or new to the podcast, we encourage you guys to follow us on at NintendoFuse on Twitter. And also, if you haven't jumped into our Discord yet, we have a Discord. Link is on the screen if you're watching the video version, but also in the show notes. And we would absolutely love to have you jump in there as well and join the discussion. Jump in the chat room as we record this live. Tell us all about your thoughts. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct. We're going to be talking about the D23 announcements, Ubisoft Forward, Eastasiasoft Fall Showcase, and the NIS America Showcase, and a few other headlines along the way. But before we jump into any of that, we want to talk about what we've been playing. So, Greg, how about you kick us off this time?
ooh, I like the change of pace.
Changing it up.
So I had picked up the TMT collection as I stated on the last podcast, and I got a chance to play my beloved first Nintendo Ninja Turtles game from the NES. I've already beaten it twice since going through having the collection pack. Haven't touched the other games yet because I had to play the best one first, but working my way through some awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles content. I did play a round of two of Among Us. My brother was kind of interested to see what that game was like, so I don't know if he was going to try to download it on his Switch in the future. So I was kind of showing him the ropes on Among Us and how you can chat with other people and try to pretend whatever, be the imposter and all that fun stuff. In addition, I also was playing the Contra collection because I just haven't been playing Contra or Super C in forever. So I did beat the original Contra and Super C once again, and those are always great games to replay from time to time again. And finally, to wrap up the Switch section, I actually beat Book Quest. So despite having the review that me and Barry did last week, I actually went through the game. Actually, isn't terribly long. I was thinking it was gonna be this pretty long like RPG, but it's only pretty much like 3 main sections with like a boss after each of them. And I actually did about a third of the game prior to our game chat. So I did have like a little revision note because based on like the things that I witnessed throughout the game, it just seems like it's no longer probably worth it because I feel like there's a lot of stuff thrown in there that's not necessarily even like part of the game. Like it very much restricts you to like going only to certain places at certain times. So they have like this coin system to purchase weapons and items, but you never have enough currency to actually buy the weapons and items. So it's like what's the purpose of having all these different weapons if you can't even buy them? I or even have an opportunity to buy them. So that seemed like it was just kind of randomly in there. Um, in addition, one of the biggest things is like how the weapons actually work. So I was telling Barry in a private chat, like I had used like the starting broom that you get at the beginning of the game for the first boss. It says it does 3 HP worth of damage, and then when I was hitting the final boss, I had hit him like at least 20 some times, so that would have been whatever 60 HP, and like the bar had like only moved like not even like an inch. But then when I found like I had another sword or whatever that I don't know if the game gave it to me because I don't remember buying it. It was like an ultimate sword. It said it was doing 10 HP per hit, but then it only took like 20 hits total to beat the boss. So obviously the math is completely off because like you would think after like 6 hits with the sword, it would have been the same as doing 20 with the broom. So I have no idea what's going on there. So it's very confusing to the player to how much health like the boss actually has. Um, so that's kind of a big flag to me to begin with there too. But like the story actually didn't build out as much as I was thinking it was going to be. You just pretty much follow this thief to the like snowlands or whatever, and then like he reveals that he's just like a wizard or whatever, and he was looking for this magic book. So like you learn a few spells that he drops when you're chasing him from to the second area to the third area, but you don't even use the second spell at all. Not even any purpose in the game to even be there. Um, the first spell was like a fire spell, which you just used to open up the area to the next area. So I mean that was kind of obvious, but like a lot of areas are like blocked off. Like it looked like you could have been expanded on to have more areas to explore, but everything is just like so condensed and blocked down that it doesn't necessarily equate to having the best of time. So that's pretty much my update regarding Book Quest. I actually bought a special adapter I posted in our Discord to hook up the GameCube to my high definition television. So I was just playing some Simpsons Hit and Run and also Double Dash just to kind of play some classic games. And I'm actually kind of really back into Hit and Run again. Like that game was so much fun. I totally forgot like how awesome the game is. Like I still remember, I can hear like the quotes in my head, like listening to it so many years ago when I played it first on like when it originally came out on GameCube, and then finally still going through with Fire Emblem Heroes. It's still going strong there, and been having a lot of fun. Still competing against some of the top ranked players and whatnot in some of the competitive modes.
Cool. Jakester in the chat saying beat his final run of Triangle Strategy, started Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of the Sky, and in the final stages of Bowser's Inside Story, and got started on Pirates World of Metroid Prime 3 and the Pirates World of Metroid Prime 3. So lots of games going on over there, and Jakester's home as well. Barry, what you been up to in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I haven't had as much time to play these past few weeks. It's been busy. On the Switch, I'm still doing my daily Pokemon Unite stuff. Still having fun with it despite raging at some questionable players. Playing little Rick Henderson, which we'll be talking about just shortly. Booted up Pokemon Shield, but truthfully, I didn't really play it much. I just used the codes because they gave you Ash's Dragonite and Gengar, and I was like, ooh, I don't want to waste that. So may try to download those because I'm hoping, probably bring them over and just to Scarlet. So I figured I might as well grab free Pokemon. On the PlayStation 5, I started Pac-Man World Repack. I never played the first game. I only played the second game. And I just could not get into this first game. Like, it's so much backtracking. I'm one of those, like, 100% completionists. And it's just, like, you got to go all the way to this part to get, like, a strawberry and then backtrack to the door that has a strawberry, open up. And then I get an item. It's just like, oh, my God, back and forth and back and forth. It just wasn't capturing me like I had hoped it would. The trailers sold it to me. So I probably won't be going back to it. I mean, it's a fine game, but it's definitely a PS1 era early 3D platformer trying to do what Mario did on the 64.
Mm-hmm.
On the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14. New content is always good. They just had an update patch. And mobile, Mario Kart Tour, still enjoying it.
Cool. Kevin saying hey in the chat. Hey, Kevin, what you been playing lately? Let us know. Also, yeah, if you just another reminder as we get into all the direct stuff later, the showcases and all that stuff, let us know what you think in the chat room, and we'll refer to you guys as much as we can today. But yeah, know that there's a lot to talk about, so we'll try not to forget about the chat room in this one. But there is a lot to talk about. I've been playing Rick Henderson, which, like Barry said, we're going to get into that in just a little bit in our game chat. Also played the TMNT collection, the Cowabunga collection, like Greg did as well. I have not replayed the first NES game, like Greg has twice.
For shame.
As this is not my favorite at all. It's not hated, but it's definitely not my favorite. But I have played through the original arcade game the most, and I think it's just so cool to have that game like on a system. Like that was a dream for like so long, was to be able to have that thing that I play in the arcade in my house, and now I have it, and I can take it on the go, and I can play it wherever I want, and that's awesome. So yeah, and then of course been playing Rocket League, and also frustrated. Basically the same things that the Barry experiences with Pokemon Unite as the same thing that I experience with Rocket League. Sometimes you're like, where did these teammates come from? How did you get in this rank? Why are you even like playing? Stop it! Get out of here.
Does Rocket League at least do anything when you report players? Because Pokemon Unite just seems like you could grief anybody you want in that game, and they don't give a crap.
They
And it's just
do. I
like,
don't know what their qualifier is, but I do know that people have definitely got banned before for either a few hours, few days, or several days. Like I've seen people get banned for like almost like a year and a half before, if it's really, really bad. But that's not the normal thing. And usually it's just, a couple, like a day up to a week, I think is the normal ban for actually like being a horrible person on it. If you're just like, throwing games and stuff like that, then you usually just get like a couple hour ban or something like that. But yeah. Kevin in the chat looks like he is working on finishing up Sally Face recently. I don't know Sally Face. Do you guys know Sally Face?
I know Super Rare put it out physically, but I've never played it.
Haven't either.
I never seen Sally's Face. I don't know.
Poor Sally. Well, I'm glad she has a face. But yeah, let us know about it, Kevin. Especially if it's a game we should check out ourselves. But let's jump into this episode's game chat. We're going to be talking all about a game called Rick Henderson. So we're going to switch over to that and begin that really soon. All right, we're here to talk about Rick Henderson on Nintendo Switch, and we got this game from Eastasiasoft. So thank you so much for Eastasiasoft to give us the codes to be able to check this game out. And yeah, so it's a shmup, which is totally right up my alley. It's something that looks like it came right out of the 16-bit era of with the graphics and all that stuff. Yeah, so like Rick Henderson is a game that basically takes this shmup arcade style endless horizontal scrolling shooter game, and that's basically it over and over and over again. And it's kind of crazy. Like it has tutorial mode, standard mode, hard mode, boss rush mode, and you will be shooting through all these different enemies that come your way, and eventually you basically will work your way as far as you can, and maybe you'll die. That's basically it. No, not maybe you'll die. You most likely will die. It is a really, really difficult game. You're gonna be playing 16-bit pixel art the whole way through. As you can see on the screen, you're going to take out over 40 different enemy types and more than 15 different boss variants. 3 different weapon types. You can have a bullet, energy, missiles for a total of over 27 unique weapons. and then you have special attacks for each of the pilots. There's 3 different pilots or ships you can pilot through the entire game. It has a synthwave soundtrack, and like I said, it's endless, but you have 5 different enemy factions and their bosses that you'll work your way through. So if you work your way through those, you'll keep on going and keep on going as long as you can. They have online leaderboards and all this different stuff. So Barry, what'd you think about Rick Henderson?
I thought first off, I think it has a very unique premise. I mean, it's pretty much endless shmup. So if you love shmups, it's an endless shmup. What I found, however, is I found the levels to be on the shorter side, which sometimes is okay. I don't need a level to last for 10 minutes. But then the bosses were like infinite bullet sponges. Like, I was just like, it took me, I feel like I must have fought for like 6 minutes or something on the first boss. Like, it was like, this is the first boss of the game. Why are you taking so long? Give me a chance. And then when you beat him, you get like choose different upgrades, and I'm like, none of these are really helpful. Like, and I did get a helpful one, but like that was on the second boss, and it was like, and then I died, and I started all over, and I was like, I died, and I was like, do I really want to do that again?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't. I feel like there needs to be a gradual increase in difficulty, like in order to get people to go that one more try.
Mm-hmm.
I could do better on the easier stages and maybe save up lives and get power ups and get ready for the harder stages. But my first time playing, I wound up dying to the first boss, and it
Yep.
was just due to it was a war of attrition. It pretty much came down to I knew a pattern and I screwed up the pattern. All right, let me try again. That had to be a fluke, and I beat him the second time. But it's like, could you imagine if like the Hammer Brothers were put into World 1-1 of Mario? Like like that would turn so many players off. Like
Totally.
there's a reason those early levels are there to ease you into the game and let you know and learn the mechanics. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad game. I just think that difficulty, and it's not even a difficulty. It's just pattern recognition. But
Yep.
when you know a pattern and the pattern repeats and it repeats and it repeats, and you've already proven that you know the pattern by surviving, you don't want to do that pattern for 6 minutes to prove that. It's just like, yeah, I proved that I've learned the pattern. Can we move on?
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know if you had the same thing or not.
Yeah. I think it was pretty much difficult from the very beginning, but it was short. I feel like the biggest thing that I took from this was this seemed so arcadey that I felt like I needed to see it in an arcade rather than on a home console. Like this was something that would like steal my quarters, basically. And yeah, it was on the short side. The levels were short. You ended up in the boss pretty quick, but then but yeah, the difficulty ramped up so quick. I think they could have spread it out just a little bit more. So yeah, I think I'm right with you as well. And yeah, I think we were joking about this I think yesterday, and I think we were like, oh well, we have a little more time to get into Rick Henderson if you want to, and I said no, I'm good. Like I played enough of it, I'm good. The standard mode I've made it through, a couple bosses, and hard mode I made it through to one boss, and played through the boss raid mode, and I think I made it to the second boss again, which I thought maybe I'd make it further because it was just the bosses, but no, like it is pattern recognition, and I think if I wanted to put more time into that, like I could get better, but I don't want to. That's where I am. Like this could be something that I could get really good at, and I could climb to the top of the online leaderboard, and that's cool that they have those, but I don't want to. There's no desire in my heart at all to get good at this game. I don't care.
And I think that's right. I think this is a game made for the shmup enthusiasts. So if you absolutely love bullet hells, you love shmups, this game could be your game of the year. I mean, you might absolutely love it because other than that, the game, it plays well, it looks great, the music is fine,
Hmm.
everything about it runs beautifully on the Switch. There's no slowdown. Um, it's just that difficulty spike. And I think if they curved the difficulty a little bit to at least get people into the third or the fourth stage, even on their first try,
Yep.
and not be like an arcade trying to kill them, I think more people will be able to get into it and find that oh, I really want to get better at this game.
Yep.
But when a game kicks your butt and the first time you play, even when you've beaten tons of other shmups and you die in the first stage because the boss just won't go down, you start to question what the heck is going on.
Yep.
And I think and I was on the easier difficulty. I didn't even try the harder difficulty because I'm like, well, the easier difficulty is taking me 6 minutes. How's the harder
Hmm.
difficulty going to take me? So I think that could be adjusted. But if it's by design, then that just tells me I am not the audience that it's shooting for, and
Yep.
that's okay.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I think I think by design, it seems like that is the goal. They want to throw you in, and the goal is just get as high and as far as you can because it is endless. And I think it is kind of unfortunate though that there's only 5 different factions because like you will start repeating and repeating and repeating, and I think I would have liked to see more of that. But I think I don't know much about the team, but I'm assuming it's a small team. Maybe even who knows? It might be just one person that's created this. So it's hard to say. Like I don't I don't expect something from like a huge team in Nintendo. When I think of an indie game, but it would have been nice to have a little more variation, I think, as well. And like you said, like ramp up that difficulty just a little slower to kind of pull people in just a bit more. But yeah, I think maybe it's not bad. It just could be better.
That's it. It's not a bad game. It could be better. So here's a question: would you recommend it?
That's a hard question. Because I think overall not only if you're a huge shmup fan. We've had another game that we checked out like several months or so ago. I can't remember the name of it. That one I don't recommend at all. But this
It was
one,
Crisis Wing, I think.
Crisis Wing, yeah, this is a lot better than Crisis Wing. And so if you that one was like I don't even really recommend it to shmup fans. This one, if you're a big shmup fan, like I'd say yes, check this out, but maybe wait till it's on sale, which it is right now. As of recording, it's 20% off, so it's a regular $7.99 price tag in the U.S. or in North America. But yeah, it's 20% off right now. That's not bad. So if you can get it for around $5-6, it's there's plenty of entertainment there for that value, I think. But for a full price of $8, it's not a whole lot of money, really. But I don't think anybody that's not a shmup fan, like a hardcore shmup fan, would enjoy it.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to say if you are a hardcore shmup fan, that's your bread and butter. You collect them, you love them. Then yes, I would absolutely recommend it. Even at $8, I think you can get a lot out of here because it's endless. So you could really just play to your heart's content. If if you're just not experienced with shmups or you play them casually, I would recommend another shmup at the moment because I think the difficulty spike, the sharp difficulty spike, is going to prevent you from getting as much enjoyment. Now, if it was one of those things where your power up stayed, like you beat the first boss, you got a power up, you die in the second boss, but then you restart and you have that upgrade, like a rogue in that
Mm,
sense. I think I could recommend this game a lot more because then it's like, all right, you're slowly getting stronger.
mm-hmm.
So your ability to progress is directly proportional to how far you get each attempt. But I don't believe it's like that. I think each time you start over from scratch, and that's to me, that's just
Yeah.
if you get to the first boss or the second boss and you die, unless you know the patterns, you're probably going to have a very similar experience each time,
Mm-hmm.
unless you get really good. So
Yep.
in that regards, I would say pass, unless you get it on sale, $2-3 or whatever, and you're curious, it's absolutely worth it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's interesting too because they talk about in the description for the game and stuff about upgrading your ship and everything. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think as far as I know, it goes away, and there's supposed to be like all these different modes and difficulty levels. There's just standard and hard. That's it. There's also mode, so that's cool as well. But like, there's not all these different levels and modes and everything like the description talks about. It kind of builds the game up a lot bigger than it really is. It's a basic arcade shmup that is fairly difficult at its core. But if that sort of thing interests you, $8 is not a whole lot for an experience like that. And on Switch, you can take it wherever you go.
Always a plus.
Yep. So thank you so much, Eastasiasoft, for providing the codes again. And that's Rick Henderson. All right. Sorry about that brief moment without audio in there. I forgot that that other scene that I had didn't have. It had me muted because you guys took the game chat last time, and so I muted myself.
I was so confused. I was like, "Is he talking? Like,
yeah.
Am I supposed to go first? What did I miss something? Did I miss the memo?"
Yeah. Yeah, it was just.
That's why I said in the chat that little Steve muted Big Steve.
Yep. That's right. That's right. The Minecraft Steve muted me. I'll blame it on him. Hey guys, the Nintendo Direct actually happened.
It did.
We don't have to talk about rumors anymore. Yeah.
What you gotta be kidding me! I missed it.
Did you miss it? You slept in and missed it?
No,
huh?
No, I watched it. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, it finally happened, and here we are. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to throw it on the screen if you're watching the video version as well. We are probably not going to get through the whole thing while we're just talking about it, but figured you can look at that instead of looking at our faces. So that's the benefits of the video version. But if you're just listening on the audio version, you don't like seeing our faces anyway. So, yeah. Nintendo Direct, there were, let me get this right. Like, I put this in our little rundown, like 46 different announcements, but actually more like 50 something games talked about, because some of these announcements included a couple different games at a time. But that's a lot of announcements. They sneaked into 40 minutes. Hopefully we can go through those fairly quickly tonight, because we have like 4 or 5 other directs or showcases to also talk about. Yeah, let's jump into the Nintendo Direct, and hopefully this video plays like the last one during the review. They started off with Fire Emblem Engage, which is going to be releasing on January 20th. It Takes Two on November 4th. Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is going to be releasing in early 2023, and this is a remake of the 4th game in the series, and first time releasing in the West. Also getting Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Expansion Pass DLC Volume 2 is going to be dropping on November 13th, and also SpongeBob SquarePants and the Cosmic Shake is a 3D platformer that's coming in 2023. So let's just take those first 5 games that they talked about: Fire Emblem Engage, It Takes Two, Fatal Frame, Xenoblade, and SpongeBob. What did you guys think of these games, Barry?
For me, I thought it was a really good start, and I'm not a Fire Emblem fan. I mean, I am, but I'm not like a hardcore. Like, I'll play casually. So I was really shocked to see a new Fire Emblem so quickly. I know Three Houses wasn't that long ago, and then we just had the Fire Emblem Warriors. Three Hopes just came out. So I was like, oh wow, another Fire Emblem. It's a full game, and it's coming January. Like, what? Wow. So for all Fire Emblem fans, you're eating good. I'm happy for you. Looks really cool. I love games where it calls back to the previous games and previous series. I'm a big fan of that. At first, I thought, like, are they doing a Tokyo Mirage session too? Like, heck yeah. But I'm like, no, unfortunately. It Takes Two, I've heard good things about. It's a game I might play. I know a lot of people are like to visually downgrade on Switch, but I think it makes sense to be on Switch. Not a big Fatal Frame fan, but I'm really happy to see any game that was never brought over here. Interesting note, this is coming to other systems, and that's interesting because Nintendo co-owns the IP. So this is the second time Nintendo has allowed Fatal Frame to go to other platforms since they became a co-owner of it. Xenoblade, you got the date wrong. It's actually coming October.
Oh,
October 13th.
October. Good to know.
So
it's even a month earlier.
Month early, yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna boot up the game just to go for the new hero yet, or I'm gonna wait till further on because I already played and beat the game. Um, so that I'm happy for it. I mean, the challenge modes are always in the games. It's a lot of fun. The new hero looks cool. Has a whole new system. It looks like, and more content's always good. I'm just happy that they made a patch where they actually made an item that was impossible to get obtainable again.
Hmm.
So I can actually finish the one thing I didn't get to finish because it was impossible. And I'm not a SpongeBob fan, so it looks great. I like how they're incorporating memes, but yeah, that one's not for me. But again, SpongeBob fans, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna jump in real quick for just a note. I think the ones that overall I these are all exciting games. The one thing that I did notice, and Greg, maybe you can correct me because you're a huge Fire Emblem fan, but like it sounded like Smash Brothers music at the beginning. Like it threw me off. I thought they were announcing, oh, more Fire Emblem characters coming to Smash, which wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's the music that's the style of music I heard in the beginning. And the the one that I think stood out to me possibly is the It Takes Two. I think just the concept of turning people into dolls and then living through it. But it's a couple that is going through some turmoil and they have
Yeah.
to like now work together and stuff. So I feel like this is going to be one of those games that's like much deeper than it seems on the surface for sure. But Greg, what'd you think?
I was so excited to see that opening of like the Fire Emblem. That was for sure. Like I saw like Marth and Sigurd, and I was like, is this somehow like genealogy of the Holy War with like they added Marth in or something like that? Because I don't know if that's the game he was from specifically. Because I've been calling for this Echoes game to be coming out at some point, but I'm happy to be completely wrong, and it's just a brand new game in the series. So I am definitely very excited to see it there. And like Barry said, I do like to see like callbacks. I think that's what really drew me into Awakening so much as like my first title is like that Lucina pretends to be Marth. Spoiler alert, sorry if you haven't played Awakening ever, but that
Or
was
Smash
really a
Brothers?
yeah, for that matter. But just that kind of reference just like really wowed me into be very highly interested in this game. So I'm kind of interested to see where they'll go with this one. I know like these last ones they've been doing a lot of like pathing like with fates and with three houses. It's like you're choosing a side and then there's like 3 or 4 different stories, and this one from what I can see it just looks like it might just be a single story, but obviously we could just be there could be different routes based on the different games. Like one route you could be with Marth, and one route you can take with Sigurd, or and one route you might maybe get like Roy or something like that. I have no idea. Obviously, we don't know too much about it, but from what we can see, that looked like it was going to be tons of fun, and I'm very excited to play the next entry. And pretty much the other ones didn't really excite me as much, just because those aren't really the games for me. Like I know Fatal Frame is great that they're still making more for that series. I know it's a very niche series because it didn't do the best on Wii U, so it's happy to see that they're still going to get like another game. Like SpongeBob, it's also kind of cool that they're using the original voice actors. I don't know if that's been a thing for previous games and for those, but that was pretty cool that they're actually involving the actual voice actors. I found that was interesting. Um, Xenoblade, I don't know too much yet. I don't. It depends if I get into the game once I have a copy to play. And then It Takes Two was just didn't look like it was probably for me as well. It just seems like a pretty neat game, and happy for people excited, looking forward to coming out.
All right. Let's jump in the next set of games. We also got Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star. Kind of probably surprised a lot of people. This is coming out in March 2023, and I don't know about you, but I feel like the announcer themselves, the narrator, was even trying way too hard to be excited about this game. But also Oddballers, which is a top-down dodgeball brawler, which really stood out to me. Like this looks like it could be really fun. That's coming in early 2023. Tunic is coming out on September 22nd. 27th. This is one of the ones that stood out to me. I know I believe it's out already on other consoles, but coming to Switch really soon. So basically just 2 weeks from today. Front Mission 1, 2, and 3 remakes are coming. This is a turn-based combat with mechs, and the sequel was previously unreleased outside of Japan. So we're getting 1 in November, 2 in 2023, and 3 has been announced coming sometime in the future. And then finally, for this section, we got Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. So it's a farm. You're going to manage a farm passed down by your father, and it's coming out in summer of 2023. So Barry, what'd you think of these? Anything stand out among this list?
It was great to see Front Mission again. We knew 1 and 2 were coming. I'm happy 2's finally getting over here. Again, I love classic SquareSoft, so I remember playing 3 on the PlayStation, and because 1 was Super Nintendo as well as 2, and we just didn't get them. And we got 1 remade on DS, but 3 getting a remake as well. That's awesome. I hope when it's done, Square decides to release a triple pack physical. I think that'd be nice. Great to see Tunic finally come over. That game should have been there from the start. Fitness boxing. At first I was like, oh my god, Fist of the North Stars being ported. Like, is this the PS3 game or something? But it was, no, it's fitness boxing. Did not see that coming. However, my wife does enjoy fitness boxing, but she's not aware of Fist of the North Star, so I don't know if she'll get any enjoyment out of it. Oddballers really took me by surprise. That looked like a lot of fun. That was like
Mm-hmm.
Mario Party style mini games, definitely. And then you seem so out of touch when you're talking about Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life.
I'm sorry.
It's it's
To
like
me,
here's
it's
this
just like, oh,
random
yet another
game.
farm game, and
I
this
mean,
is not the last one we're going to talk about today.
Story of Seasons is Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
So it's the longest running franchise for farming
So
simulations.
what
And
is the story there? Because like, when did that change? Because it was a subtitle of Harvest Moon at one point, wasn't it? It was like Harvest Moon
y-
Story of Seasons, and then all of a sudden it switched the names.
no, what happened is, I forget the official name, and someone will probably like scream like, "Oh, it's this," but in Japan, it's one series, and the publishing rights to bring it to the West and decided to call it Harvest Moon over here. And
Oh.
it owns the rights to Harvest Moon, but they had a falling out at one point. So what happened was, uh, NIS decided, well, we're gonna publish, or Exceed, I'm sorry, I believe we're just gonna publish it ourselves, but we can't use the Harvest Moon name. So they invented Story of Seasons for the West,
Mm.
and that's the real continuation. Meanwhile, Natsume, who owned the rights to the Harvest Moon name, developed their own games that are much more mediocre under the Harvest Moon name to keep it going. So this is
Ah.
anything Story of Seasons is the real
Is the
Harvest
real
Moon,
one. Okay.
because that's the same series in Japan. And A Wonderful Life is actually a GameCube port. Wonderful Life is released in the
Oh.
GameCube, and then they had another Wonderful Life with female, where you play as a female protagonist instead. So this
Huh.
looks like it's both. They did release it again on the PlayStation 2 afterwards. So this is actually a remake of a game from a long time ago. This isn't a brand new game.
Oh.
They updated features and stuff like that. So yeah, this isn't just another farming game. Like, this is the original farming series game, the long standing from the Super Nintendo days. But this is a GameCube game, which is always cool to see, brought to a new audience.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, my apologies to all the Story of Seasons fans. I am glad I got that education, because I was always confused about that whole like series, or like why it seemed like it split and all that stuff. So that makes a lot of sense. Greg, what'd you think about all this?
Yeah, this is like the last titles from the previous section that we just discussed was kind of like more like the lower part of the direct for me, because a lot of these didn't really seem to stick out to me to begin with. So like the fitness boxing thing just kind of reminded me like a more streamlined like Wii boxing version of it kind of thing, but it looked more like it was like a music based like timing kind of thing, which was kind of interesting. But I'm not really an avid boxer, so I'm not going to be picking that up, obviously. Um, the oddballers look kind of unusual. I mean, I'm not really huge into soccer games, but it does look kind of quirky, like with the car driving through the game and stuff. So I don't know if might need to get more see some more trailers and more footage from the game to see if that's something I might end up picking up. Tunic was definitely the brightest point of this like section because I did write that down to probably end up purchasing it. Kind of looks like a Zelda game, and I really love those isometric Zelda kind of style games. So it's looks that one actually looks the best out of this ones we're talking about. The front mission ones, I think I've stated that's why I didn't really care for like some of the initial like Xenoblade parts because it's like it has the mech stuff, and
Mm.
that's some reason with the mechs I'm not really into watching or playing as a lot of those things. So I was probably not going to be looking too further into those three games. And then Farming Simulator is not also the thing that I look forward to with in games either. With Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons that you guys were talking about earlier as well. So that will also be a pass. And but just because I don't like it doesn't mean someone else can't enjoy it, and that's great that they're getting games that they appreciate and will want to play.
Yeah. The good thing is that, yeah, for I think Story of Seasons is, from what I understand, and all those is like less of a farming simulator. It just includes farming as a big piece of the game, for
Yeah.
sure. But we're gonna get to an actual farming simulator in just a little bit, because there's actually several of farming games. I feel like that's like the new theme of all these different games that were
Actually, I think
announced.
Story of Seasons is the most farming of all of them.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah,
It wasn't featured as much in the trailer then. Um,
because it's also about community and about the people. It's a life simulator in that sense.
Gotcha. Well, let's jump into the next section of games. We found out that the first Splatfest for Splatoon 3 is going to be dropping on September 23rd, and that's going to run for September 23rd to 25th, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time, also ending at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And the question for this one is, what would you take with you to a deserted island? Gear, grub, or fun? And Octopath Traveler 2 was announced. It's from Square Enix, of course. 8 new travelers, intertwining stories, dropping on February 24th of 2023. And then we have Fae Farm, which is a farming simulation RPG. You're going to be facing off against foes, befriend others in this adventure game. Play up to 4 players, local or online. Customize your home. Almost kind of seems like like an Animal Crossing kind of elements as well. So it's kind of a lot of customization in there. Goal to restore the land, and you're going to be playing that in spring of 2023. Theater Rhythm Final Ball Line drops with 385 songs from the Final Fantasy series. If you think that's a lot, just wait. There's DLC coming to include 90 more songs from several different games. But also, if you think that's a lot, just wait, because we're also throwing in additional packs with 442 songs in one pack and 502 songs in another pack. Oh my gosh, but this is going to be dropping on February 16th, 2023. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is going to be dropping on October 20th, and there's also going to be a gold edition available. And we also got news about Rune Factory 3 Special coming in 2023 at some point, and that there's a brand new Rune Factory game coming sometime in the future. So, Barry, what stood out to you from this list of games?
A lot. This was a big group. This was a very big group. Splatoon 3, I didn't really care about the Splatfest. I understood why it was there. I'm sure there are people who are going crazy for it, and that's perfectly fine. Octopath Traveler 2, very excited. Very excited. I love Square's HD 2D or 2D HD engine. The first Octopath was a very good game. The biggest problem I had with it was the lack of cohesive connectivity between the 8 stories. This specifically calls out intertwining between the stories. So it has me very excited, and it looks beautiful. I feel bad for Fae Farm. I feel Fae
Hmm.
Farm would absolutely thrive in a normal Nintendo Direct, and I think in this one, it's just a bad release time. It is overshadowed. It's by, doesn't have an established IP behind it or a big company behind it, and I feel it's going to be the run to the litter, so to speak. I do wish it well. I hope it exceeds my expectation, and I hope it's a lot of fun. The Theater Rhythm Final Ball Line, that game could become a Game of the Year contender for me.
Hmm.
I loved Theater Rhythm on the 3DS and the sequel, Curtain Call. I played those games. I bought every DLC. I must have spent 40 something hours on each of them. I love Final Fantasy music. It's so beautiful. I love the rhythm aspect. I love how there are different styles between the battles versus the adventure scenes versus the like the cinematics where you're playing over cinematics. But the 3DS, it was all, with the stylus and you had to tap and stuff. So I'm curious how this is going to work because they did the Kingdom Hearts music game and I was excited for that, and I didn't really like the way it played on Switch.
Hmm.
So I'm really hoping that, like, I'm sure handheld it's going to play just probably like the 3DS version, but I'm hoping it plays really well on the Switch. But yeah, Theater is a huge game. I love the amount of tracks. That's an insane amount of tracks. I think you might be wrong. I think it's 500 something total when you factor in the
Okay.
90 extra tracks. Plus, you get 27 additional tracks by buying it all together. Like if you buy all the DLC
Okay.
packs in a lump, they'll give you an extra 27. So I think it's 500 and something total, which is still an insane amount of tracks.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to buy DLC, over 300 baseline tracks is also an insane amount of tracks. So you will be playing this for a long time. And if you've never listened to Final Fantasy music, it's beautiful. And if you've played the Final Fantasy series and you have nostalgia for the Final Fantasy series, this is a no-brainer because just listening to some of these tracks again, it's just awesome.
Gotcha.
Mario and Rabbids I'm already sold on. I knew this was here because not everybody watches every showcase. And it's kind of funny because this was like their big game of the last showcase that they did in June, the last direct, which was the partners direct, because it's technically third party, but it's just interesting to see it here again. And one of the reasons Faux Farm or Fay Farm has such a hard time is Rune Factory's here. I would never expect Rune Factory 3 to get a remake, and I'm so happy because I love Rune Factory. It is more Zelda than farming. Farming is just the way to get money. It's all about the relationships and about those exploring dungeons, and in 3 you get to turn into creatures, which is really cool. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to get another Rune Factory after 5. I know 5 was good. It was kind of a little bit on the rougher side because it was unlike the other ones. It's not 2D, it's 3D. Still a lot of fun, but you can tell like this was their first experience going 3D. But I'm overjoyed that we're going to get what I'm presuming is Rune Factory 6. It could be, like part of like the Tides of Destiny or Frontiers, like one of like the spin-off Rune Factory games. I don't know, but just the fact that we're getting a new one has me very excited because I really enjoy that series, and that's a spin-off of Harvest Moon too.
Hmm. Just spun out all over the place.
Did
Greg, what did you think about this set of games?
Um, Mostly pretty much sharing what Barry was saying about the majority of these. The Splatfest is obviously kind of whatever. I haven't really participated a lot in too many of those, so it's like sure. So glad that it's getting its first Splatfest. I don't know if I'll take part of it. I haven't bought Splatoon 3 yet, but I do plan on getting it hopefully soon. Let's see, and then Octopath Traveler was definitely very exciting to see. I never got too far in the first one, and it was always been on like my huge backlog list of ones I should play, and now it's kind of kind of wishing that I actually took the time to complete that one and in order to get ready for this new one. So that one's very exciting to see the next one. I love the visual style they do with it, so that's one of the main reasons I really enjoy the series. Fae Farm is probably whatever. I mean, I've already said I'm not into like the farming aspects of stuff in a number of the different games that it's in. So it's glad that it exists for people that do like those kinds of games. I do understand it's very therapeutic for other people, so it's just not the game for me. The Rhythm Heaven kind of type game is I'm not usually into a lot of those as much. Like I never still haven't played like Cadence of Hyrule or anything like that, so it's probably not going to be something I get. I only have limited experience with Final Fantasy because it's usually lived on PlayStation for 90% of its life, or probably even like 95% of its life. So I
it's not
don't know
true.
if I'll be. Yeah, like there's only 1, 4, and 6 that are on out here in the West before on Nintendo platforms,
Yeah, but the
and all
first
the rest
six
of
are
them.
on Nintendo platforms. Plus, so many of them came to Nintendo afterwards with the GBA and the DS. And
Well, those aren't the mainline series games.
yeah, they are. Final Fantasy 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 are on GBA, and Final Fantasy 3 and 4 came to DS. And then the Switch has a ton of them. 10, 10, 2, 12 is there. 7, 8, and 9 are there. We just need the Pixel remastered, and we'll have almost all of them. 15 mobiles even there on Switch.
15 mobile.
It is.
All right, but yeah, but moving on, Mario and Rabbids, it's pretty excited for. That's another one I still need to finish up the first one. Like I didn't get too terribly far in it, but I did enjoy my time with it. So it's another one that I'll need to revisit hopefully before the next one comes out in just like a month or so. And then Rune Factory, I've never played the game, so I don't know a whole lot about the series, and maybe I'll give them a shot at some point. I think I was interested at like the fourth one on 3DS or whatever it was, but I never ended up getting it. But it maybe I'll have to look more into it to see if like 3 and the brand new one would be something for me.
4 is on the Switch now too. You get the upgraded version there.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like it would be something you would be into, Greg, from what I know about it, for sure.
Yeah, from what I remember, like from the old NintendoFuse forums and stuff, it did sound like something I was looking to get into, but I never made the dive to get it.
Yep.
But
I'm going to go to the chat real quick because I know that there's been conversation around different things. So let's see here. Jakester's excited about Fire Emblem Engage. Also really interested in Front Mission. And let's see. Also stoked for Octopath Traveler 2. And the first game apparently is in his top 5 Switch games ever. So that's really exciting for him to get a sequel then. Let's jump into this next section. We could have some little fun discussion around this because we're getting new Nintendo 64 games on the Switch, including Pilot Wings, Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, 1080 Snowboarding, Excite Bike 64, and then they surprised us with what sounded like Metroid, but then quickly turned into GoldenEye 007. So I know Greg and I were talking about it. Kind of threw us off at the very beginning when they announced it. But Pilot Wings, Mario Party, and Mario Party 2 are coming this year. And then Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, 1080 Snowboarding, and Excite Bike 64 are all coming in 2023. And GoldenEye is coming sometime. We don't really know, but it's coming sometime, and it will have online play like the others. So Barry, what'd you think about these Nintendo 64 game announcements?
Fantastic group. I know some people have posted criticism about Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 because it specifically says on the bottom that you cannot transfer Pokemon into it, so you have to use the rented Pokemon. So people are like, oh, does this mean we're going to get the Game Boy and some kind of connectivity? But no, there's not. It's just rented Pokemon. But the mini games are there too, which is fine. I'm wondering if this is why we haven't gotten Mario Party DLC on Switch, because they just said, oh, we'll throw the first 3 right there on NSO. But no, I think this is a great list. I'm happy to see GoldenEye. I know afterwards Rare tweeted out that it's also going to Xbox, like updated in like HD, 4K, all that stuff, with also online and achievements, which tells me Nintendo and Microsoft were doing some talks. The only way this happened, because Nintendo still owns the publishing rights. So the only way this is going onto Xbox is they had to come to some deal, and obviously it's going to NSO, which is great. Everyone wins then. And it's great to see Nintendo being, again, open. They did it with Fatal Frame. Now they're doing it with GoldenEye. Really nice to see. And I was hoping for more. Like I'm not trying to be greedy. What I mean, like N64 is great. I mean, I was hoping for maybe another system announcement. But at the same time, I think a lot of people who are like, the expansion pass isn't worth it. It's not worth. They're going to do it just for GoldenEye. Like that alone is going to sell expansion pass users and stuff. And I think that's great. And there's a lot of games there. I think a lot of people didn't play Excite Bike 64. I love Pilot Wings as well. Like I'm happy to see that there. And of course, Mario Party, having all 3 Mario Parties plus the Super Mario Party and Superstar, the Switch is just the ultimate party machine then.
There you go. Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
It was definitely very exciting right when like the GoldenEye like theme like showed it at like the that scroll screen right as the Metroid music was ending. That was like so incredible. Like I don't think I've yelled quite as loud in such a long time. I was so happy and stoked to see GoldenEye coming back, and I immediately texted my brother to like, okay, now you have a reason to get this expansion pack. We can play online and can beat him just like I did on the N64 in the olden days. So that's super incredible to see that that's coming back, and beyond excited. I've been asking for it. I even sent Nintendo a number of emails over the years, like, "Oh, add it to the Wii Virtual Console, add it to the Wii U Virtual Console," and like, nope. And like, oh,
They
we're
finally
constantly.
listened.
I know it just took 3 systems later to finally make it happen. So
Well, then with the remake, right?
it did, but I didn't quite as it didn't really hit my nostalgia itch like the original, like this one does. But it that was like the first game that I really got into like the first person shooter games, and also the last. So like Halo didn't really do it for me, and so,
What about Perfect Dark?
so
At least Perfect Dark should have done it for you.
yeah, Perfect Dark was awesome. I did enjoy that one, the Perfect Dark 64, and then they decided
Basically
to
GoldenEye
move that
2.
off of. Yeah, they basically moved it off of Nintendo platforms. So
And then it got really bad.
I had fun with Zero.
Did you? Oh, I'm glad someone did.
yeah,
Yeah, it was also the last first person shooter I actually played, like any type of like online or anything. I just had fun with it.
Nice.
Dark Ops mode, I still stand by that. That was a good mode.
yeah. The original Pilot Wings, that's one of the N64 games I haven't played. I'm
That's
not
not the
really
original.
too huge into it. Yeah, I think it's like it was the other launch title alongside Mario 64.
Yeah, but it's not the original Pilot Wing.
But yeah, I was super excited to see Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. Been really looking forward to trying to get a physical copy of both 1 and 3 at some point to add to my collection. So it's finally nice to be able to play them on Switch. Pokemon Stadium, I've never really played the Stadium games yet, so it'll be cool to try those out. Didn't really like 1080 snowboarding when I had rented it from Blockbuster back in the day, but obviously pretty cool there for people to enjoy that.
What?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Greg,
that's
we're friends.
Yeah, 1080 is amazing. Oh my god.
But definitely excited for Excite Bike 64. I did have that one, and that one was tons and tons of fun. I did like the Excite series.
Nice. Go into the chat. Kevin's really excited about GoldenEye as well. This is the reason he might actually get the upgraded expansion pack. I I love GoldenEye. I played it so much, but I don't know if it's going to hold up over time.
Oh no, it can't hold up. Like unless if they said they updated the frame rate,
yeah,
and that has to
good.
happen. Like if you watch the old one, you can't do that frame rate anymore. It's atrocious.
Yeah. But I'm excited it's coming. It's fun. And I don't know what that means for the future. Like if Nintendo and Microsoft have been talking, like what could that mean for the future? Well, let's move on.
Really cool if that remake came to Switch at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah, cloud version probably. Let's keep moving because we got a lot to discuss today. In addition to all these games, we also got a game called Various Day Life. And this is an adventure and daily life RPG from Square. And this is the same team that created Octopath and Bravely Default. So fantastic team behind this. And it drops today. We also got Factorio as a management sim to build a new rocket. And this is a top-down kind of game, and also dropped today. A game called Ib. Is that what it's called? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. Ib, yeah.
It's kind of a creepy game about a young girl visiting an art gallery with her family. And this is actually a remake of a 2D game from 2012, and it's going to drop in spring of 2023. We also got a Mario Strikers update. Pauline and Diddy Kong are going to be coming to the game, as well as new gear and a new stadium dropping sometime this month if you are still playing that game. We also got Atelier, Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End of the and the Secret Key. I'm going to say that again because it's a long name that I butchered the first part of it. Atelier, Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key. Wow, come on, guys, with his names. That's another RPG. It's going to be dropping on February 24th, 2023. We also got information about 2 of the next tracks coming to Wave 3 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's going to be dropping this holiday 2022. We're going to get Merry Mountain from Mario Kart Tour, and also Peach Gardens from Mario Kart DS. And finally, in this section, we'll also cover that Switch Sports is getting an update. Golf is finally coming to the game, along with an 8-player survival golf game that's going to be added to the game. But unfortunately, it's been delayed. You don't have to wait too much longer, though. Holiday 2022 to get golf in Switch Sports. So let's change things up this time. Greg, what do you think about this section of games?
This was another of the lower points, like for me, like right after just capping on that high of GoldenEye. But yeah, the various day life didn't really seem to have too much interest to me. But obviously, it'd be nice for anyone else that thought it was a lot of fun to them. Same thing with the Factorio and Ib. I don't really know a whole lot about like those or anything, and didn't really interest me as much there either. Mario Strikers, like you said, it's I think it's a little bit too late already. Like this should have been in the game when it launched. The Rise of 3 that is currently playing is don't really know too much about that one either, and it didn't really look terribly interesting for me to look into that as much either. And then was pretty happy to see the Mario Kart update. I was like, wait a minute, Wave 2 just dropped. Are they already like shadow dropping Wave 3 on us? And nope, it's like, oh, at least we have a timeline, because the previous wave we had no idea when it was coming. So great to see Merry Mountain to return there. And then yeah, Switch Sports, I was like, whatever. I've already stopped playing. I haven't really been playing since it came out, so golf isn't really gonna get me back to playing it again.
All right. Barry, how about you?
Uh, so this started out okay. Various Day Life is a game I actually looked into afterwards because I love Square stuff. I love Bravely and I love Octopath. Apparently, this was made for Apple Arcade as an exclusive, and now it's being brought to Switch, Steam, and PS4. But it's only digital. From all the reviews, it's like this is good for like 10, 15 minutes at a time, but it's not worth spending a good chunk on. And it's like almost $30. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for right now, like at all. Like I want it to be better. I'd pick it up if it comes physical, but for digital right now, it's great that it's coming and it's here. It's here today. Factorio and Ib didn't do anything for me. Mario Strikers, again, I moved on from that. I was really happy to see Mario Kart DLC actually say Merry Mountain is from Tour, because both the other two exclusive brand new courses for Tour aren't labeled as Tour as they should be, because they come from Tour. They were developed for Tour. So Merry Mountain is great to see. And I read something that supposedly there was a leak they were going to show all 8 courses, but one of them was London from Tour, and because of the Queen's death, they opted not to. That's a rumor. It's still a leak. We don't know, but there is courses based on London, so it wouldn't surprise me that it is would eventually come to Mario Kart 8. Switch Sports, I never actually opened up to play. Golf was never one of my favorite sports, and just not one of my favorite sports in general. But I'm happy that's coming, and I'm really shocked that what Greg said about Ryza, because I have all the Ulterior games, and there's a bunch of them, but I never played them. I have friends who played them. They said you really should. They're good RPGs, and I have Ryza 1 and 2, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then Ryza 3 came on, and I was like, this looks fantastic. Like, oh my God, this looks so good. And my next big game I'm planning to play is not till September 27th, which is Trails from Zero. So I've got some time between. I'm like, maybe I'm going to try the first game and pop that in and then like play that, because if this is as good, maybe I'll go, because it looks fantastic. And the first 2 got great reviews. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that showing. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, let's keep moving on. We got Miyamoto coming on the screen and gave us an update on Super Mario movie and the Super Nintendo World amusement park coming to Universal Studios. And then he jumped into showing off Pikmin Bloom, a little advertisement for that game to, I guess, remind us that it still exists and please don't give up on it. And I really thought it was going to stop there. And I'm like, really? You wasted Miyamoto is what you did. You wasted him. But then thankfully he told us about Pikmin 4. Unfortunately, we just got a teaser, but it does look awesome. It's a perspective shift to where you have the perspective the size of a Pikmin, so you're down closer to the ground this time. And it's supposed to be easier to play on the Switch. I don't really know what that means, but it's going to be coming in 2023. So, Greg, what'd you think about these little updates from Miyamoto?
Yeah, I was definitely happy to see that they had him in another direct, but I was really hoping for more info on like the movie or the theme park stuff. But glad to hear it's going along well. Pikmin Bloom, I still haven't loaded it up, and I don't think it's convinced me to do otherwise. Really excited about Pikmin 4 after playing through 3 Deluxe on Switch for like at least several times through. Like I've beaten on like the hardest difficulty, even like it's when I replayed. So I'm actually very excited for Pikmin 4 and can't wait to see more and hear more about it.
Nice. Barry, how about you?
This was the section that dragged, and I watched a lot of like review, like people reaction to it, and like every time it got to this, it was just like, oh my God, Miyamoto, we don't care about Pikmin Bloom. Try, like you're hard selling it at this point. We don't care. We didn't care last year. We don't care this year. Stop. And I have friends who play Pikmin Bloom and they love it, but it was just funny how like you have this momentum and then you just like literally hit the brakes at this point. And if that Pikmin 4 follow up wasn't there, that would have been a complete waste. I was really also hoping for 1 and 2 to come over, like do a 2-pack. Like 4 is coming next year, but in the meantime, here's 1 and 2 for this holiday. That would have been great. As for the Mario movie, everyone wants to see footage and hear Chris Pratt do Mario's voice, and they know that, so they're just not revealing it still. And then, of course, the Super Nintendo World, I'm happy to hear. I'm waiting for Orlando's to open up because that would be the one I would most likely go to.
Nice. Jakester really excited about Pikmin 4 as well, and thinks might play Wii Sports Golf. Actually, his old disc working just because as he's waiting on Switch Sports, I guess. Let's move on. This next section included Just Dance 2023, which has been showed off quite a bit over the last couple weeks. It's going to include online play, new menu, new art, now an ongoing platform with annual music packs, and it's going to be dropping on November 22nd. I've actually got a big article on NintendoFuse.com if you want to know more about Just Dance 2023. Harvestella was shown off, and it's a life simulation RPG. There's actually a demo that's going to be dropping today, and it is Barry's favorite. Of course, all of our favorites, but
it's not just me.
Yeah, all of us like this. Barry really likes it. He talks about it a lot, but which is for good reason that he talks about it a lot, because this is how you should do a demo. All the save data is going to transfer into the final game, and you can get that on November 4th. Bayonetta 3 was shown off after not seeing it forever. Now we're seeing it quite a bit. This time you're going to be fighting to protect the entire world from man-made bioweapons. And I got a couple previous characters joining, and that's going to be dropping on October 28th. And they also dropped a big trailer with more information about the game after the direct. We also got Master Detective Archives Rain Code. This is a detective mystery kind of adventure, and that's going to be dropping in 2023 at some point. And then we went from something that Barry loves to something Barry hates, cloud versions, because we all hate them as well. We all love the correct way to do demos, and we all hate the cloud versions. But Resident Evil is coming to the Switch. Village is coming on October 28th, and there's a demo available today if you want to test out your internet connection, if you can get it. The Winter's expansion is going to be available on December 2nd, and then Resident Evil Biohazard 2 and 3 are also going to be coming via cloud later this year. So, Greg, what'd you think of this section of games?
Mostly it wasn't for me. Like Harvestella didn't really do much for me. Same with Just Dance. I haven't really played the Just Dance since Wii, so still not going to be rejoining that. I know Barry likes his Wii U and Wii versions that come out years down the line after the system's ended. Bayonetta 3, I still need to check out the first two. I mean, just been a series that's been on like my radar, but I haven't really put much time and effort into looking at actually playing the series. So that is one I might potentially pick up, but I really need to check out 1 and 2, and I know those are already out on Switch, and I don't really have a reason for not playing them. So I hope to add that to my list in the near future. The Master Detective game, probably not terribly interested in that one either. Resident Evil, I haven't really played too many games in the series, just Revelations on 3DS, and really didn't do a whole lot for me, so I'm not really into the series as much. So it's definitely a pass, and thankfully, because they're also just cloud versions and not games you can actually just keep on your console.
Yeah. Barry, what'd you think about all these?
This section started off, meh with Just Dance. I understand why it's there, so it didn't like bother me. What bothers me is that this year there's no actual physical version. It's just a code in box across the. It's not just Switch, like even
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation.
Yep.
It's a code in box that bothers me. And Just Dance that's one of those series that I buy because of my collection, but I have another reason to buy it now because my wife loves it. My wife has been getting into it and been playing the Just Dance and going through the lineup. So I really, that's an extra bonus for me. But now it's like I showed her, I'm like, well, I'm getting 2023, but it's just a code.
Yep.
It's like, oh, it sucks. Harvestella, absolutely sold on. I have not played the demo, and I'm not planning to play the demo yet because it comes out in November. And I know if I play the demo now, I'm going to probably finish it within a day or two. And then I'm going to have to wait. And by the time November comes, I'll have forgotten
Hmm.
everything. So I'll probably play it like a day or two before it actually comes out, which is what I did for like Live Alive. This way I'm prepared and have a little head start. But yes, I absolutely super excited for that. Bayonetta 3, same thing. I watched the extra footage. Looks great. Really excited for Bayonetta 3. Master Detective Archives Raincode came out of nowhere because I didn't heard about it, and I absolutely must get this game. I love Danganronpa.
Hmm.
It is an awesome series, and this looks just like more of that. I love the idea of like the murder mystery and finding the clues and trying to prove the innocence. And it's always something that you least expect, just like it is in Danganronpa. So yes, absolutely, hands down, very excited for that one. As for Resident Evil, haven't been big into Resident Evil for a while. I understand Village being a cloud version because the Switch just can't handle it. It's like games like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 that I don't understand because I know the Switch can handle it, and
Yep.
that's where it really bothers me. I'm happy we're finally getting 7 cloud. I mean, Japan had it forever, and 2 and 3, why not? It's like the Oprah thing again. You get a cloud version, and you get a cloud version, so why not?
Yep. Yep. We're going to move through these last couple sections pretty quick because we got a lot of more to talk about. But Sifu is coming out. It's a Kung Fu Brawl action game coming out in November of this year. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is a prequel to the Final Fantasy game. 7 game, December 13th is when that's dropping. Radiant Silvergun is an arcade shmup dropping today. Endless Dungeon is a roguelike, which we all love, coming out in 2023. Tales of Symphonia Remastered is coming out in early 2023. Life is Strange Arcadia Bay Collection comes out on September 27th, so just a couple weeks. And also Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered drops on December 1st. Greg, how about you on these?
Well, I can just keep it pretty quick. Most of these didn't really do much for me, and I think on our last podcast, I said it was already sold on the Life is Strange collection, and we even revealed it was coming out later this month. So that's definitely the winner for me, and definitely can't wait to play that later.
Nice. Barry, how about you?
Happy to see Sifu come to Switch. I've heard good things. Crisis Core is the best of the Final Fantasy VII billion games that came out. So I'm happy to see that being remade. Radiant Silvergun is one of the best shmups, of all time. It's up there for most lists and never actually came to America physically on the Saturn. But believe it did get a release on XBLA much later on. So I'm happy to see that on Switch, hoping for a physical. Endless Dungeon did nothing for me. Super happy to see Tales of Symphonia. Really shocked that they didn't include Dawn of the New World as well, because it's only half the remastered package. It's just weird. Life is Strange. We've had a Life is Strange podcast pretty much already. My feelings. It's amazing, and definitely play it. And Romancing Saga. Square's really just pushing Saga right now. I didn't even realize this was coming out, another update or another remaster to a Saga game, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think the interesting thing, I'd not heard of the Sifu game before, but to like as you die, you get older and weaker, and like that's just such an interesting concept for the game for sure. Um, but yeah, let's just jump ahead and this next section of games we've got Lego Brick Tales that's coming out on February, or sorry, not February, fall. I can't read. Fall 2022. So this fall, and yeah, looks like just another Lego adventure. Looks cool though. Disney Speedstorm was announced the other day. We'll talk about that in just a little bit in our Disney showdown or showcase as well. But that's a Disney kart racer coming in 2022 at some point. Fall Guys Season 2 drops on September 15th. So we're recording this on September 13th. It's just in 2 days you can get Season 2 of Fall Guys. And then we got a kind of a surprise announcement that Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is going to be coming to Switch on February 24th, 2023 with up to 4 players that you can play as different characters or all as Kirby. This is part of the Kirby's 30th anniversary collection. Or not collection, but anniversary thing that they're doing to honor Kirby, I guess. So, yeah, Barry, what'd you think about these 4 games?
I mean, I have no interest in Lego, but I did hear that Brick Tales is pretty good. Speedstorm, we'll talk about a little bit, but it's free to play Game Loft game, so probably not going to be good. Fall Guys, I had fun with it. I'm probably not going to check out Season 2, but I know there's a big following. And, I definitely didn't have another Wii remake. A GameCube remake and now a Wii remake here, or at least a port. Definitely not what I was expecting. So I'm happy. I think Return to Dreamland was often forgotten about on the Wii because it came really late in the life cycle. So I'm glad to see more people now getting to play it, and I'm shocked there was no Game and Watch. Right? Why didn't we get a Kirby Game and Watch like Mario and Zelda? You could put Game Boy games and Kirby's Adventure on there and be fun.
Totally. Yep. Gray, what do you think?
Yeah, it was mostly stuff that wasn't really going to be super interested in. I mean, Fall Guys Season 2 I might end up getting. I don't know if they usually count that as a separate app, or is it just like a changeover at some point, like the one that you
just
have?
Just an update.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Fortnite and Rocket League and all the other games.
Oh yeah,
updates.
Yeah, I've seen Fortnite stuff. I just didn't know if it's actually like a separate app, like for separate seasons with different content and all that other stuff. So
yeah, just a big update for the game.
So that part is kind of exciting, and Kirby I'll probably be looking to check out as well because I have been getting more up to speed on my Kirby games. But the Disney's Speedstorm I know we'll be talking about later, and then the Lego Brick Tales I'm not really like huge into Legos, but did really look really a lot of fun, and it's nice to see that they're actually doing like a Minecraft version of with Lego pieces.
Yeah. All right. At this point, there's been some exciting things and some not so exciting things, but and I thought they were going to be done right here at this point in the direct, and then they dropped this final trailer for us, and this final trailer showed off some hieroglyphics kind of stuff at the very beginning. And as soon as I saw it, I knew it was Zelda. And as far as I'm pretty sure these guys thought the same thing. And then we get the title. It is no longer The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. It is now The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And Zelda, or not Zelda, I made the mistake that everybody does. Link jumps out of the sky. He's riding and floating all these things in the sky. So definitely bringing in the sky world, sky loft. I don't know, all this different stuff. We didn't really see a whole lot. Still very, very cryptic kind of a trailer. But it's going to be dropping on May 12th of 2023. So we finally have a date. Barry, what'd you think of Tears of the Kingdom?
I think we're not talking about the most important thing here.
Okay.
And the most important thing is that May of next year is the launch of the Switch 2. That is the launch of the Switch too. Okay, they just told us, or Switch Pro. They might do it. Might be a stupid Pro, but that's the launch. So you heard it. May of next year, it's going to launch alongside this game. This is going to be on the regular Switch, but it's going to play better on the new one. I think this looks fantastic. I know it's short. I wish it was a little longer, but I'm satisfied. It's one of those games where I want to see everything, but I also want to see nothing at the same time because I'm already sold. Once
Yeah.
I'm sold on a game, I don't need to see more. Just let me be radio silent until I see the game, and then I can play it and go in blind. Because that's what trailers are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to sell you on the game. So the game's already sold. I think we're all agreement. I think most Nintendo fans are in agreement. The game's already sold. We know the title. We know the date. We don't need to see any more. Just give it to us. Just give it the IV and just start pumping it right into our veins right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Greg, what'd you think of this?
Definitely very incredible. As soon as I saw the hieroglyphics, I was like, "Oh, this is Zelda!" And like, about time. Let's see some more stuff. And then it was just kind of like a more laid back, almost like a title screen type trailer of the game. So, um, definitely very excited. As Barry said, I'm already sold. So I really do wish to know more, but also not at the same time as well. So like I don't know if I would watch a focus direct on the game exclusively, but just wanted more going into it blind. But I'm definitely been very excited for this game and can't wait till May of next year. I know we were hoping it'd be holiday this year, but obviously they had some more other development setbacks and stuff and pushed it back. So
Yep.
definitely very excited to play the sequel. And I do remember there was like a little tidbit that they didn't reveal the title yet because it was more supposed to be could be a spoiler for the game, and I really am with everybody else. Like, what the heck is a spoiler supposed to mean? I mean, it's like you can't really know anything
Yeah,
about the tiers. I mean,
that's
I
true.
know it looked like he had. I mean, I guess he has that tier ability, like how he kind of like falls from like the sky world down to the ground, but they've already shown that part of the
Yeah.
gameplay footage, so it's like it's don't
Well,
really
and there's already
understand
been a
it.
lot of tears dropped for that kingdom after all the turmoil they've been through. So I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah, Barry, I agree that they've dropped consoles before in May, so that wouldn't
It'll be over 6 years
wouldn't
at
shock
that
me.
point.
Yep.
So why not? It's the
Yeah.
perfect time. We've
So
said Switch Pro since like 2020, 2021, 2022. This
it's
will be
true.
into 2023.
Well, and hopefully those games that are announced at some time in 2023 are backward compatible. Because if not,
Right.
they're not going to get the push that they need for sure.
Oh, it's going to be backwards compatible. There's
Yeah.
no way in hell.
Oh yeah, it better be. Like it has to be. At this point, just reiterations of just keep moving it forward. Always make it backward compatible. That'd be a no brainer. Well, let's move on. We got a lot to talk about in a very short amount of time. So let's move over to another event that happened, and that was the D23 Disney and Marvel Game Showcase. The first time this has happened. Greg, tell us about what was shown off at the D23 Disney and Marvel Game Showcase.
Sure. So I'm sure you'll be opening up the tab that we'll be reading here. So pretty much they were showing like the Skydance and New Media's new game with Marvel and Captain America and Black Panther story is set in World War II. So it's just another like a narrative driven kind of adventure game with Marvel Entertainment. Um, there's Marvel's Midnight Suns gets a new release date, and the Switch version is obviously to be determined. So who knows when that'll be. Then there's Tron Identify has a new visual novel game that was announced with like BitShell Games, so that will be on consoles in 2023. One of the ones I'm more excited about is like a new co-op Mickey game with Mickey and Friends, the Illusion Island, and it's an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. So like, it sounds like a nice little platforming game with the main characters of Disney, and probably playing that with my daughter. Marvel World of Heroes, a new Marvel AR game, has been announced by the Niantic from who also do Pokemon Go. So it's a new AR game that will be on mobile devices in 2023. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, there's a quick gameplay overview, and it was just kind of short and sweet there. Then there's Marvel Snap, an upcoming free to play collectible card game. So if you like card games there, it'll be on mobile and PC on October 18th, 2022. Then we also have a Return to Monkey Island. It has a brand new trailer, and you can also talk like a Pirate Day kind of thing that has like a launch date on it. So that is set to launch later this week on September 19th. Then there's Aliens Dark Descent. The first gameplay trailer was first announced at the Summer Game Fest that we've covered on a previous podcast, and pretty much the game will arrive on PC and consoles in 2023. Gargoyles Remastered will bring like the classic 90s platformers to modern consoles and PC. So I guess Gargoyles was a game that was on like the Sega Genesis in '95, and then pretty much will be remastered to come out later. There was no date or anything listed for it. Then there's the Disney Daylight Valley to add a new Toy Story realm later this year. So um, you could roam in your favorite land sets from the Toy Story series, and there's be an early access thing and whatnot that you can do that will bring in with Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and new quests and other things to do there. The mobile MMORPG shooter Avatar Reckoning gets another first look trailer, so it'll be you can customize your own avatar and explore Pandora through multiple game modes. And there's a Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga gets a new Galactic Edition and characters. So pretty much, if you're excited to get the new edition, it'll arrive on November 1st. There's the Disney Speedstorm that was also shown in the Nintendo Direct that we just covered. So just like a kart racer. Pretty much not really a whole lot of other information. Just a lot of Monsters Inc. characters like Sully and Mike Wazowski and Randall, some of the main characters there. There's also Disney's Mirror versus Halloween season will bring spooky fun on mobile devices. So another free to play RPG game that's gonna be on mobile is right here with the Disney Mirrorverse. There's Marvel Strike Force to add like the Red Hulk. So those just Red Hulk will be added on September 13th today actually, and you can recruit the Brawler and like, the newest Horseman of War. And that was pretty much it there for Disney. I don't know what you guys thought about it, but my main takeaway, like I was saying, was that the Mickey platformer co-op game that looked like a lot of fun. That looked like a lot of the classic cartoon style.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just run through my thoughts real quick. I thought Tron Identity looked interesting. They just showed up that trailer, the teaser, but it's interesting to hear that it's a visual novel. I didn't expect that sort of a thing from the Tron, but cool, I'm sure, but that's not what I'm into. So I went from being excited to not so excited about Tron. Midnight Suns looks interesting, but the more they show about it, the less I'm actually interested in it because it's not my style of game. For those that like that genre, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But a card-based kind of tactics and it's cool that every choice matters, so that's kind of cool. But who knows if it's going to be on Switch anymore? Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, that's cool that more characters are coming, but I've already got everybody that I want except for a playable Baby Yoda. Disney, that's what I want. I also Return to Monkey Island, not for me, but cool that it's coming back for those fans. Disney Classics Gargoyles was a meh for me. Mirrorverse only on mobile, so that doesn't matter. Speedstorm looks good, but to hear that it's a Gameloft game now that I'm not so excited about it anymore, unfortunately. Dreamlight Valley also looks a little interesting, but it also seems like an older game. The animations look a little janky. And then Captain America Black Panther game looks really interesting, but we don't know anything about it right now. Like what consoles it's going to even be on, probably not Switch, but I'm still excited about it right now. So, Barry, what'd you think?
I thought they showed off way too many mobile games. Like I feel like half the announcements were mobile games, and I'm like, Disney, this is not what you should be doing. You know, Speedstorm could be good since it's Gameloft. They'll probably be free to play, so you could try it out and get riddled with microtransactions. But you're welcome to try it. I agree. The Captain America Black Panther game does look interesting, at least in premise. I have to see it. Midnight Suns, I don't know if I'll actually play it, but I do want to watch the animated shorts because they showed off that trailer with the animation. I'm like, this is very reminiscent of the '90s X-Men opening, and I'm like, I could get behind this. If this was a show, I like this style. Let's see it happen. Um, the Mickey Mouse game looks like a lot of fun. It looks like Rayman Legends, which I'm all for. so hopefully it plays really well. And you know, Monkey Island is cool to see. I was hoping for a physical, but it's almost like forgetful. Like, oh yeah, that was LucasArts. They do own
Hmm.
that. Tron could be fun. I like visual novels, but it really depends. But I feel like they threw this together without a lot to show, and it was like, here's this, check out this awesome trailer, and it's like 2 seconds of a logo. Wasn't that amazing? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
what did you show
Well,
me?
it's clear that Disney doesn't know how to do games. They've
Oh
started
yeah,
studios and closed them down, and started studios and closed them down so many times. Like they're doing a showcase during D23. It's a great idea, but yeah, I think they threw it together. Um, yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna agree with you guys. Like that, the Illusion Island is the thing that stood out to me for sure from this whole thing. That's the thing that I'm most excited, that I know what I'm getting,
yeah,
that I'm excited about.
and it's Switch exclusive, which is weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's move on to Ubisoft. Ubisoft had a Ubisoft Forward event, and there's several different things shown off. But I'm gonna just hit the highlights for the Nintendo Switch. Simon Belmont is coming to Brawlhalla. So if you're a Brawlhalla fan, Simon Belmont's coming to Brawlhalla. Also, everybody's going
Alucard
to
is as
be.
well.
What's that?
Alucard is as well, I believe.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Everyone is going to be getting a free month of Ubisoft Plus, so that's cool, I guess. And then Mario plus Rabbids was the big thing they showed off, and I'm actually going to be getting some more time with that pretty soon. But first, look at one of the quests. There's a lot more RPG elements this time, especially with the sparks. And then new gameplay elements seem to make it for a lot more people like me who didn't really like the genre and this kind of a game in the past. But I think this Sparks of Hope is kind of crossing a little bit more, and it's pulling me in. So I will say that. And it's not like that grid based thing that I really hate. It's they're expanding on that, and you can move around a lot more. So I'm really excited about that. And there's 3 DLC packs coming, including Rayman is coming to the game in the 3rd DLC pack. And then the only other thing for Switch that we got was Just Dance 2023, which we have talked about already in the Nintendo Direct. So Barry, what did you think about Ubisoft Forward?
I I think Ubisoft is in the same vein as Disney, and they just don't know how to put on a good presentation because their E3 presentations were always the weakest, in my opinion. Uh, they had a few highlights from time to time. Like Mario and Rabbids was a highlight when they first showed that off, and Starlink, the Star Fox trailer was a huge highlight with Miyamoto there. But like Ubisoft Forwards, just they haven't been that great, and I think that's just because a lot of Ubisoft games I just don't care about. Like I don't care about Rainbow Six or Tom Clancy or anything. And even Assassin's Creed, they did like a whole Assassin's Creed thing where they announced like 100 games or whatever. I'm like, what? So I have no idea how many of those will eventually come to a Nintendo platform. Well, I'm sure eventually one or two of them will. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty weak showing overall. And not much. If you were just a Nintendo gamer, really not that much, which
Yep.
just sucks.
Yep. Yeah, I watched it later and I was just like skipping through most of it. I'm like, oh, is this for Switch? No. Oh, more Tom Clancy. Oh, Assassin's Creed looks cool, but it was mostly just kind of skipping through and trying to find the next Switch thing. Greg, what'd you think about Ubisoft event?
Yeah, I haven't really been into Ubisoft games in general. I mean, I did try Assassin's Creed on Wii U, and I didn't really end up getting into it. So I had thought there would be a series that I could get into and enjoy, but it wasn't something that I like playing. So pretty much, since it's like not really a lot of Nintendo-based games, I didn't even watch the presentation, and pretty much Sparks of Hope is pretty much, I could already tell, is pretty much the only game they'll be getting off of the list. So that's pretty much sums it up, as I've already said that in the Nintendo Direct.
Yep. Yep. Well, let's move on. Another company had their showcase. Eastasiasoft had their fall 2022 showcase. Barry, tell us about that one.
Yeah, so Eastasiasoft does their periodic showcases where they show off games that are coming out relatively quickly, which I always appreciate. So they showed off 13 games, most of which were on Switch, not all of them, unfortunately. They showed off Wind of Shuriken. It's like a ninja stealth action game that's coming to the Switch on September 8th. Head Up is coming in fall 2022. Otaku Cross Pretty Boys Mahjong Solitaire, Solitaire, which is another one of those games. And again, these aren't women; these are all boys. That's coming on September 22nd for the Switch. Freezer Pops, they showed off on September 30th. Unfortunately, he's missing the Switch. Super Chicken Jumper, where you play like this spy chicken and it looks crazy, is coming fall 2022 for the Switch. Maggie the Magnet is heading to the Switch this month. Looks really cool. It's like a kind of like a physics platformer where you don't actually jump and it's all polarity. All you could do is switch your magnet polarity to kind of tackle the objectives in front of you. Rule number one, which I'm not a big first-person shooter guy, but looked pretty cool. That one is coming on fall 2022. Until the Last Plane will be hitting also in fall. Super Wooden GP, it's like a top-down racing game, is coming this fall. 41 Hours, this is one that I wish was coming to the Switch, but that one's coming fall as well to other platforms. But we're getting Pretty Girls Escape, which is another one of the Pretty Girls series of card-based games and mini games that's coming this fall. And Finding the Soul Orb is another game that looks, in my opinion, fantastic, but unfortunately missing the Switch. And finally, Bot Gaiden is coming soon to the Switch, which is like Mega Man meets Ninja Gaiden in an action platformer where speed is the key, trying to get to the end of each level as fast as possible while doing some really cool ninja moves, and you get rewarded by performing properly. So I don't know what you guys thought of this.
Yeah, yeah. When I'll just quickly run through Wind of Shuriken is one that did stand out to me. Looks like an old school kind of mobile game though. So I'm not sure if I'll fully get into it, but it looked interesting, and I'm glad that they are exploring different genres, because a lot of times Eastasiasoft has kind of found itself in this niche that I'd like to see when they do experiment out, and this is one of those. Hat Up is this precision platformer like Meat Boy, but doesn't seem as good, so I'm gonna skip that one. Otoko Cross. No thanks. Super Chicken Jumper definitely looks like a mobile game, just slightly above like Flappy Bird. So I'm gonna skip out on that one. Maggie and Maggot looks interesting, but not interesting enough. Rule number one, remind me of like Doom or those kind of FPS games, like old school, but it's a roguelike, so no thanks. Until the Last Plane, again, looked like a mobile game that I probably would enjoy if I played it on my like iPad or something with touch control, but that's about it. Super Woden GP looks good, but yeah, I'm no longer a fan of those top base like isometric racers anymore. At one point I was, but not so much anymore. 41 Hours looks great, but it's not on Switch. Pretty Girls Escape, no thanks. And Finding the Soul Orb also looks great, but not on Switch. The only one that I'm like, the only Switch game that I'm walking away from this one is Bot Gaiden, because it looks cool, it looks colorful, it looks like 16-bit graphics, but like put up to like maybe 2022 like level, and this is probably the only one that I might get. So yeah, Greg, what'd you think?
Pretty much just like Hat Up and Maggie the Magnet were the main two that stuck out to me. But if it's Hat Up is more precision based, then it might not be completely up my alley, but it might be something I might just try to see how precision based it is, because some of that stuff can get very frustratingly difficult. Like I've seen people make precision levels in Mario Maker, and like that I watch on other streamers play, and that's kind of looks like it could be incredibly frustrating. So possibly a pass on that. Then in terms of like the Maggie the Magnet, I do kind of like those types of like unique puzzle games, so I might be more looking into that one. But the rest of them are likely a pass for me as well.
Barry, any other final thoughts before we move on to the next one?
I think for me the standout one was Bot Gaiden. Just I love Mega Man and Contra and Ninja Gaiden style. So for me that one just looks like a lot of fun. And Maggie the Magnet could be could be fun if you like those type of platformers. And again, there are some of those that look really great that aren't coming to Switch. So I really hope they find their way. And again, I'm not even a first-person shooter guy, but they just look really good. Like, well, bring these ones over, bring these to Switch because they look really
Yep.
just a lot of fun.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, this last section that we're going to be talking about is from NIS America. They had their showcase in 2022. And yeah, they showed off several different games, and I'm just realizing at this moment that I forgot to jot down any of the release dates. I put my thoughts on there, but I forgot to mark the release dates down. So we're just gonna have to go through the website, and forgive me for doing that, for just reading it. But NIS America did their showcase, and we saw Grim Grimoire once more, which is launching in spring 2023. And that's also going to have a limited edition as well. Monster Menu is launching in September 2023 and also has a special limited edition. Process of Elimination is also coming spring 2023. Maybe there's a reason why I didn't mark any of these down. They're all coming out in the spring. Void Terrarium is coming out. Guess what? Spring 2023. Raiden 4 Cross Mikado Remix is January 31st, 2023. And then also a special edition with that one. And I think that's it. Like, I feel like I saw more, but apparently not. I remember seeing the Prinny Presents. They showed off that one, I think, as well. And they also showed off Legend of Heroes and Yomawari. But for whatever reason, that's not on the NIS America website. So
there weren't new announcements. There were announcements for other games. But yeah, they did show off those upcoming ones or ones that just came out.
Gotcha. So yeah, I think before I pass it on to you, I'll share my quick thoughts. I thought the first three games looked a lot alike each other. It was sometimes hard to know, oh, they're in a new game if I wasn't looking at the bottom, corner of the screen that showed the new name of the game. But Yomawari looks creepy but interesting. Prinny Presents, no thanks. Legend of Heroes, no thanks. Void Terrarium seems pretty deep for a side-scrolling adventure. Graphics are really cool as well. Never played the first one, so I don't know what I'm getting into, but it sounded pretty cool. Process of Elimination, I just thought it was so strange that we've not had a game called that before, or maybe we have, it's just not gotten popular. But it's this detective game told through a narrator. So it's kind of... That's what, or sorry, my notes. It's a detective game, but the narrator told me that the trailer itself told me nothing about the game. But I finally found out that apparently it's a detective game. Monster Menu seems as like this dungeon survival RPG. Not really into that. And Raiden as a shmup looks similar to to arcade but updated. So I don't think I need to play it to see if I like it or not. But it's also not on Switch, so there you go.
Well, the remix isn't on Switch, but the Raiden 4 Makoto is on it.
Nice.
Just the remix version isn't.
And Grim Grimoire once more. Again, I know nothing from the trailer that they showed off. But the narrator, again, helps and says it's about a girl that's trying to become a mage. I still don't know what the game is about, though. And so I think it's a side-scroller, maybe a remake of another game. But the trailers did not do anything for me. That's my big thing about the NIS America Showcase is I knew nothing walking out of that game going, that game kind of looks cool, but I have no idea what it's about. So that's my thoughts. Barry, what do you think?
The fact that you said not interested in Legend of Heroes makes me want to just find a frying pan and just come over and smack you. Like, what's wrong with you? That obviously was my game of the show because I'm already sold on it. But yeah, like Grim Grimoire was actually a PlayStation 2 release.
Oh.
So what NIS is doing is they're really diving into, because they're already a niche company and a lot of people didn't get to play their games or they no longer have those systems. They're bringing a lot of them back, which what the Prinny Presents is. They're bringing back, and there's 3 volumes already on the Switch, where each volume is 2 of their previous games together, which is great because it lets people who've never heard of the company or never heard of these games get a really good bargain on some classic JRPGs, because they are JRPGs. Monster Menu looks interesting. process of elimination was also pretty exciting to me. Like I love detective stuff. I love mysteries. So those ones are the biggest ones. And again, I was shocked that Raiden the remix didn't get on Switch because the regular version is. So I was like, wait, why is this not on Switch? This doesn't make sense to me. But
Hmm.
still, I'm happy to see NIS and any of these Japanese companies doing well because I always prefer Japanese games to Western games. And they felt, hey, we have enough to at least do a small showcase, which is cool. Like, hey, out of nowhere, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was yeah, very very absolutely. This was a Japanese genre kind of heavy showcase for sure. Greg, what did you think about all this?
I actually completely missed the showcase, so without any like video footage, I can't really apply too many
You wouldn't have
opinions.
known anything about it even if you watched it. I'm telling you, these trailers were
That's what it
awful.
sounds like.
Like it
That's
showed
kind of
off
what it sounds like.
characters just moving in, and they were pretty to look at, but it told me nothing about the game.
So that's pretty much sums about it up then, right?
Yeah, pretty
unless,
much.
unless you actively follow some of the previous versions of the game or whatever, or play them on older consoles, then you would understand. But
Yep, yep.
yeah, so I can't really offer too much input. I mean, there probably are some that I might end up picking up, but some, like I think NIS with me is usually kind of like hit or miss. Like it's some look really cool, and others are like, nah, it's not for me. So I'm
I'm
sure
really
that's
surprised,
probably
Greg, you haven't picked up Disgaea yet, being such a Fire Emblem fan.
I really should have played it at the Switch event back in 2017. So if they have like a Switch Pro event in
There you
2023,
go.
then and they show like this guy of 6 and stuff, then I'm like, all right, let's go.
6 is
And
already
then
out.
Yeah, you're gonna be
7
playing
is
Zelda
just announced.
instead at that point.
or whatever,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I didn't follow the series, and you just said that was the one that first came to my head, at least. So
Yeah. I'm glad I'm making you laugh, Roth. He's laughing at me in the chat. Let's jump into a couple quick headlines before we wrap up for today. And Barry, kick us off about another event that's coming up.
Yeah. So if all these showcases weren't enough, there's one more coming up that's at least been announced. Day of the Devs is put on by Double Fine and I'm 8-Bit, and they usually happen during E3, usually right after the opening broadcast or Summer Game Fest, as we've been doing it now. But they have a second presentation coming out in November, and this one is not only going to be a digital showcase, but it's actually going to be an in-person celebration, which is really cool to see. With E3 being canceled this year, to have another in-person showcase happening. So if you're actually a game developer, you could actually still submit. They close today, so you better submit right now. But the showcase will be this November, so look forward to it.
then I have a pair of Splatoon announcements here. So Splatoon 3 has surpassed 3.45 million units in the first 3 days that it's been out. So that's the highest domestic sales. So that means just for Japan only within that kind of time frame. So that includes both like the physical and the digital version of the game. So they shared a formal announcements like celebrating that. So congratulations to Splatoon 3. That's great to see a new IP staying along pretty strong. And also in regards to that, it's Splatoon 3 has also taken the crown for Japan's fastest selling video game of all time. So again, exclusive to the Japan region. Pretty much that 3.45 million copies is the fastest selling game ever to release in Japan. So that's surpassed any other previous game. I believe the previous one might have been New Horizons at 2.68. So that's really great to see for Splatoon 3 to be so very well over in Japan.
Nice. And if you have not picked up a Switch yet, or maybe you have and you want to collect them all, you can collect them all, just like Pokemon, because there's a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Special Edition Nintendo Switch OLED model that's going to be dropping on November 4th. And yeah, you can see the images on the screen. If you are following us on Twitter, you can also check them out there. But it features a Scarlet and a Violet Joy-Con. Go figure. And the legendaries are on there, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna stick with my original Switch Lite that I got that's Pokemon themed, but yeah, if you're trying to collect them all or just at least all the Joy-Con like Hussin is, then you can get your Scarlet and Violet Pokemon OLED. So yeah, let us know if you're excited about any of these stories in the comments or the chat. Greg, what do you think about just quick thoughts about any of these stories?
Obviously, I was kind of saying, at least for Splatoon 3, that it's great that it's doing so well, and I'm hoping to pick up the game shortly to participate in the Splatfest and other stuff like that. But yeah, that Switch OLED model looks pretty good, but with Barry's prediction for May next year, I will have to hold off on that. Um, and then pretty much like the game of the dev, so that's will be a great show, and hopefully we'll get some more information on some upcoming games for next year.
Absolutely. Barry, any thoughts?
Yeah, the Switch looked cool. I thought it was a little busy on the back, but I'm not gonna upgrade. I got the Switch OLED, the standard one. The Splatoon 3, congratulations. That is an amazing accomplishment to become the fastest selling, you know, game of all time in Japan, and rightfully deserved. And that's only gonna propel Switch sales and help Nintendo stay where they are. And always look forward to new showcases. Always, great for indie developers to get out there. And Day of the Devs is one of those where it's not just here's a trailer. The actual developers get to sit there and they actually talk to you for a bit and explain what's going on and show you trailers and show you gameplay. And each game gets a good 5, 6, 7 minutes of segments to explain, which I like. I think that's important.
Yep, yep, absolutely. Let's move into what games are going to be coming up over the next couple weeks. We're going to be scrolling those on the screen as you guys are watching the video version. Of course, it's coming from Metacritic that puts this list together. Thank you so much for that. But a couple of games that maybe someone needs to pay attention to is the Amnesia games are coming out on September 20th. Shovel Knight Dig is coming out on September 23rd. And as we've mentioned already, the day after our next podcast recording, which is going to happen on September 26th, but on September 27th, we're going to get Tunic and Life is Strange Arcadia Bay Collection. So can't play them in the next 2 weeks, but just barely over the next couple weeks. So, Greg, what are you going to be playing over the next, 2 weeks until our next podcast?
Well, I do see Maggie the Magnet on there that we just talked about from one of the showcases. So possibly looking into picking up that. And then I know Barry will be very excited for this reveal that I picked up earlier today that I will possibly be playing for the next podcast. Is this game right here? So I got this one from the library.
My
And
God.
so and
Yeah,
I will be
screenshot that,
experiencing this.
Barry, and that's never a picture you thought you'd see.
I am so
So
happy
that-
right now. And I'm so
that will be
jealous
a
to
game that
get to experience it for the first time.
So I finally got my copy that I put on hold for what seems like forever ago. So it finally came in just this past weekend, and I didn't get a chance to pick it up until last night. So I didn't start it up because I didn't want to have to mention that I've been playing it, and then that made this podcast even longer. So I thought a surprise reveal for Barry at this section of the game.
That was the best reveal of this whole thing. Screw the
Nice.
Nintendo Direct. That was it.
No,
That
Tears
was
of the
best.
Kingdom. It's Tears for Barry.
Exactly. No, I'm happy. I can't wait. Now you gotta play after this. I want to hear updates. I'm so happy for you. You're about to embark on the greatest adventure you'll have this year.
Nice.
If not, your whole Switch career.
That's going to be over soon, apparently. Barry, what are you going to be up to over the next couple weeks?
Like I said, I'm not like the next game I'm really gunning for is on the 27th, which is Trails from Zero. So right now, the main thing I'm probably going to give Ryza 1 a shot because, like I said, I was really impressed with Ryza 3's trailer. It looked like a lot of fun to me. So I'm sure I could just jump into Ryza 3, but I figure I've got this time period. Let me do that. Other than that, I'll probably be playing some games either for review or doing stuff for premium. So I won't really have as much to play. But that's okay. I like these downtimes too because I just got over Xenoblade 3 and Yuri Kill, and now it's like, all right, I need a little bit of a break before I jump in because the rest of this year is insanity because there's Trails from Zero, there's Star Ocean 5, there's God of War Ragnarok, there's Sparks of Hope, Bayonetta 3, Pokemon. Like, it's just insanity after insanity. Harvestella, like, I won't have any time. The end of this year is insane.
Nice. Yeah, I'm actually gonna be traveling soon. Actually leaving tomorrow to head out and of all places to go and hang out with Ubisoft for a couple days, and so I'll be checking out Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope a little early. I won't be able to share my thoughts for a while because I'm under embargo, but I can tell you I'm going to check it out. And so I'll be playing that, and I've got a couple other games that I'll be checking out. A new Lego game that's gonna be dropping soon as well, and so yeah, I'll be playing a couple new games and a couple games, maybe get some more time to play Life is Strange 2 as well. Maybe in between all that, but yeah, that's it's gonna be fun. Next couple weeks, like I said, we're gonna be back on September 26th, with our next episode. Thank you guys for sticking with us for this episode. There was a lot to cover for sure. Lots to get through. So if you want to talk about any of this stuff with us, we are on Twitter at NintendoFuse. So be sure to hit us up over there, or you can also join our Discord, or do both. We'd love to have you on any of those places to join our community, continue talking about all these games. If you like what you've heard or saw, please be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app, and be sure to leave us a positive review if you're able to. Share it with others that enjoy Nintendo, enjoy video games. We would love to have you help us do that as well. And yeah, just thanks for being with us for another episode. You can check out all the links and stuff we've talked about, all of our merch, all the other links and stuff like that's going to be on our show notes, YouTube description, all those different things. So thanks for being here. And I
You know
think
what's crazy?
What's that?
In 2 minutes, or now in 1 minute, a Sony State of Play is happening.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
weird? Same day.
Yeah. We didn't have time to also cover that, but it is kind of weird that it's also happened the same day. So, well, it's been great, and I know these guys got to get out of here, so we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. But thanks again for joining us. Happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.